With so many players dropping out of their international teams, especially the England squad, it's going to be interesting to see who starts against Japan in the friendly on Tuesday evening. Jarrod Bowen is an almost certain starter. He was the 38-minute sub on in the game against Uruguay the other night when he came on for the injured Nonu Madueke. And now he's got yet another chance to shine against Japan this evening. Now here's hoping that he has a good enough game to convince Thomas Tuchel that he should be part of the England squad for this summer's World Cup. But there's also hoping that he doesn't pick up any injury that might keep him out of the West Ham team for any extended period of time. Right now, our need to keep Bowen fit is far greater than Tuchel experimenting with third or even fourth choice players. Is that harsh to consider Jarrod Bowen a third choice? Well, harsh in a way, maybe a reality more than harshness, because we know Saka's going to be there. We pretty much know that Madueke is going to be there playing out on the right hand side. But will Jarrod Bowen make it as well? I guess we'll have to see. There are 7 West Ham players on international duty. It's not just Bowen that we've got to worry about picking up injuries. Now, we know that Dinos has been left out of the Greek squad because of suspected concussion, but we also have the likes of Mads Hermansen, Malik Diouf, Wan Bissaka, Thomas Tuchel, and Matias Fernandes, also on international duty. Now, showing the quality of our academy, the depth of it, a whole host of academy players have also been called up for international duty as well. But whilst it's important for their development, all eyes will be on the senior players and the hope that they will all be fit when returning to West Ham for the final 7 league games and, of course, the FA Cup tie on Sunday against Leeds United. In a way, so far in this international break, we've been quite fortunate with the use of our players. Malik Diouf was an unused sub in the friendly between Senegal and Peru, as was Matias Fernandes. He was an unused sub in his first senior international call-up when Portugal hosted Mexico. From the reports coming out of DR Congo, Wan Bissaka didn't start in that game against Bermuda, but I don't know at the moment if he came on as a sub later in that game or not. And we've had players who've had it pretty easy. Mads Hermansen was in the playoff semi-final where Denmark beat North Macedonia 4-0. He hardly had anything to do. And now Hermansen's Denmark faces Thomas Tuchel's Czechia when they to determine, I think that's on Tuesday night as well, to determine which of the 2 international teams goes to the US in this summer's World Cup. Now, Thomas Tuchel, surprisingly, was not in the starting lineup for Czechia, but he did come on at half-time to help defeat the Republic of Ireland on penalties for Czechia to go through to face Denmark in the final. Now, the playoff final, as I said, I think that's tonight, on Tuesday night, between Denmark and Czechia. Will Mads pull out the stops to see Denmark go through? Or will Tuchel be the player to deliver the killer punch for Czechia to progress? But let's focus or go back to Matias Fernandez. Now, he received his first senior international call-up for the Portuguese squad, which is a sign of just how much he's progressed and developed this season as a player. Although his West Ham goal and assist tally is moderate, 4 goals, 4 assists, it doesn't really highlight just how good a season the 21-year-old has been having. And despite only being benched in the 0-0 friendly against Mexico last week, it'll be astonishing if Fernandez didn't play some part in the friendly against the United States all the way out in Georgia. So he's got a long way to travel to get home. Since the departure of Lucas Paqueta, Fernandez has shone in the West Ham side. He's become our central midfield focal point. So much so that the Vultures are already swooping, with reports suggesting that Man United have already started talks with the player's entourage for a summer move. Look, should we get relegated, there's no doubt that a player like Fernandes will leave West Ham United. But if we remain a Premier League team, I don't believe that Nuno, or I do believe, sorry, that Nuno will do all he can to keep Fernandes at the club. And I also believe that Nuno will succeed in doing so. Fernandes can become the pivot to our midfield for quite a few seasons yet. And if we invest around him, there's no reason why he'd want to leave West Ham United at the end of this season. He's got a contract till 2030, so if he does go, then it's going to take one almighty big bid to get him. And if he impresses for Portugal, then of course his value is set to increase even further. Now, whilst there are still stories swirling around that we've got to sell our key players or some of our key players because of our financial predicament, I still maintain, and I have done for quite some time now, that we will not have to sell some of our key younger assets like Fernandes, like Jean-Claude Todibo. Focus will be on selling players who are out on loan, as well as players who are older. So it'd be no surprise if the likes of, we're going to get rid of a number of players who are out on loan at the moment, and as well as, won't surprise me if we do actually sell the likes of Thomas Tuchel and quite possibly Jarrod Bowen this coming summer, even if we stay up. This is not if we go down, this is if we stay up. And that means that we'll be set to be able to keep the likes of Matias Fernandez because we'll generate income from other players. Now, reports have been suggested that Man United are going to allow Casemiro to join Inter Milan, the club that's owned by David Beckham at the end of this season. Up until now, there's been uncertainty as over whether the Brazilian would be remaining in Manchester, but his expected departure certainly clears the path for a new midfield signing, and Fernandes is meant to be high on Man United shortlist. Look, it's rumoured that Fernandes is highly regarded at Old Trafford. I'm not surprised by that. I think many teams would have looked at Fernandes and maybe regretted not buying him last summer when they had the opportunity to. And it's understood that he is one of 3 or 4 targets being considered as a replacement for Casemiro at Man U. Also on that list includes Elliot Anderson of Nottingham Forest and Adam Wharton, who earned another England national team cap against Uruguay on Friday. So the stories linking Fernandes to Man United are simply hearsay at this moment in time and nothing more than that. But of course, when does fact ever stop a good headline?